Ferdinand Marcos Sr. ruled the Philippines for 2 decades. His time in power from 1965 to 1986 was a period of significant change and upheaval. Marcos declared martial law in 1972, citing threats from communist insurgents and a need for national security. This marked a dark chapter in Philippine history. Marcos's regime was marred by widespread human rights abuses. Thousands of Filipinos were detained without trial, tortured, or disappeared. Corruption became rampant, with the Marcos family amassing immense wealth while the country struggled economically. The assassination of opposition leader Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr. in 1983 further fueled public anger and ignited calls for change. The People Power Revolution of 1986, a largely peaceful uprising, ultimately ended Marcos's rule. Millions of Filipinos took to the streets demanding an end to the dictatorship. The iconic image of nuns praying before tanks captured the spirit of the revolution. Marcos and his family fled to Hawaii, leaving behind a nation grappling with the legacy of his rule. In a stunning turn of events, Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., son of the late dictator, won the 2022 presidential election by a landslide. This victory marked the return of the Marcos family to the Malacanang Palace after more than 3 decades. Bongbong Marcos's victory was fueled by a carefully crafted campaign that tapped into nostalgia for his father's rule and promised unity and progress. Since assuming office, President Marcos Jr. has focused on strengthening ties with the United States, granting expanded access to military bases amid growing tensions in the South China Sea. He has also sought to bolster the country's economy, pursuing trade deals and promoting investment. However, his presidency has not been without controversy. One of his early decisions was the removal of Edisa Day, commemorating the People Power Revolution, from the list of public holidays. This move was seen by critics as an attempt to downplay the abuses committed during his father's regime. Marcos Jr. has also faced scrutiny over his handling of the ongoing drug war inherited from his predecessor, Rodrigo Duterte. The political landscape in the Philippines remains complex and fraught with tension. The Marcos family's return to power has led to a realignment of political forces. One notable development has been the strained relationship between the Marcoses and the Duterte family, once close allies. The alliance began to deteriorate following public disagreements and policy differences. This rift came to a head when Marcos Jr. removed several pro-Duterte police officials, including the Davao City police chief. The move followed a spike in drug-related killings in Davao, the Duterte's stronghold, raising concerns about a resurgence of the brutal tactics employed during the previous administration. The Marcos family has also been accused of engaging in historical revisionism, attempting to rewrite the narrative of Ferdinand Marcos Sr.'s rule. This effort has manifested in various forms, including social media campaigns that portray the Marcos era as a golden age of prosperity and order. Critics argue that such narratives ignore the human rights abuses and corruption that characterized that period. The Marcos legacy continues to cast a long shadow over Philippine society. While Bongbong Marcos enjoys considerable public support, particularly among younger Filipinos who did not experience his father's rule firsthand, there remains a significant segment of the population that remembers the abuses of the past. This divide is evident in the ongoing debates about the Marcos family's wealth, human rights abuses, and their attempts to revise history. The Philippines today faces numerous challenges, from poverty and inequality to corruption and political instability. As the country navigates these complexities, the legacy of the Marcos family serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of democracy and the importance of upholding human rights and the rule of law. The Filipino people must confront their history, learn from the past, and work together to build a more just and equitable future.